This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live. It's a freaking Wednesday. Stuttered there for a second, almost said Tuesday. I haven't opened Discord yet. I'm Discord. I'm all Discord tonight. Hey, yo, meat cakes. In a state of discord. Oh, what's going on with you guys? Hope you've had a good day. Been one of those days for me. But I mean, it's another one of those nights where I tell you guys the news. And what are we going to talk about tonight on the news? We're going to get the updates of the elections that went on last night. Apparently, Mo Brooks was awfully salty about the results. I had to search for it, but I was able to find a video of his comments. So we're going to see one salty. I keep wanting to say it. I wrote it in my notes over here, but I better not say that word. Also going on today, line go down. Line go down. Line go down. We talked about the market rebounding last night. Line go down. We are going to watch about 10 minutes of Biden's gas speech. That might have been the whole fucking thing. I feel like they picked it up halfway through. They're like, oh shit, Biden's speaking. Go to him. I think it starts like mid-sentence. I'm more interested in the testimony from Fed Chair Jerome Powell. He was grilled by Senator Sherrod Brown, Senator Elizabeth Warren, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy that. We're going to talk about January the 6th. Of course we are. They have revised their schedule because apparently they've got some new information. We know one of the pieces of new information is a documentary film that was being made about the Trump family that apparently has footage from January 6th. CBS News reported in just the last hour they have images. They said images, so I don't think they have video of the video. They've got some still images that have been leaked out of the video. I assume this is going to take place at the hearing tomorrow. We're going to hear about this. Well, I mean, Trump didn't endorse Mo Brooks. I mean, he did, but then he took it back. And he endorsed the eventual winner of the race, Katie Britt. Speaking of snitching, Scrappy, a dude snitched on himself. A former West Virginia state delegate pulled what I like to call a Leroy Jenkins. What was his name over here? Derek Evans. He apparently live streamed himself going, Derek Evans is in the Capitol! So, of course, when I read that he had been sentenced, I'm like, well, I've got to go find the video of Derek Evans screaming about how he's Leroy Jenkins. And I found it. Do not worry. But here you go. First, today's meme of the day. This is the top 12 states to live in, indicated by yellow. The states are as follows: Alaska, Washington, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Those are the top 12 states to live in. Ah, shit. Fucking Ron Johnson. I saw that video of him with his cell phone trying to act like he was on a phone call. It's the top 12 states to live in. That's the top 12 states. Oh shit. Oh fuck. I try. I am a meme lord. If you follow, I have 2 meme pages. Unfortunately, one of them, when I lost Real Me's Facebook, I lost the original version of the page. It was just fucking, it kept fucking growing. And I wasn't even posting that much to it. It was called People of Social Media. And like, just because of the name. And I have a People of Social Media now. It's not as big as what it once was. I just post shit that people say on social media. The other page is the Justin Freakin page. It's so dumb you didn't get it at first. Believe me, I'm man enough to admit I didn't get it at first either, but when I got it, I laughed my fucking ass off. For those of you listening to the audio, because apparently I've got fucking people that listen to this as a podcast now pretty religiously. We've got 3 people every day listening to the show. It used to be 2 people. There are 3 people every day listening to this show as a podcast. So if you're listening to this as a podcast right now and you didn't get as I was reading off the states, they're the states on top. It's the top 12 states to live in because they're the top states. Polio's always on the bingo card, sir. What fucking... Is there a polio outbreak now? I didn't get to it tonight, but like... There's something like 3,000 and some confirmed cases of monkeypox right now. And you people over there in Britain, you just keep spreading it among yourselves. I'm looking at you, warlord. Keep having those gay raves over there. You're like, oh shit, the prime minister can go to fucking parties and skirt COVID restrictions. I'm going to go out and have gay raves and get monkeypox. Polio identified in London sewage samples. God damn. Why is it you guys now? First it was monkeypox, now it's fucking polio. You guys are the fucking troublemakers of the world. And don't even get me started about your past. Yeah, he's a black plague on the earth. The Black Plague! I just made a joke about it. Or did that start in France or some shit? I don't know my fucking history very well. Certain parts. Oh, it started in Asia? My apologies. You know, I played Vampire. No, that was like the 1918 flu or whatever. It wasn't the Black Plague. No, I played A Plague's Tale, but like it didn't give me any fucking history. I am a dumb fuck. Why do you guys come to me to read you the news, other than the fact that I get stoned and cuss while I do it? I'm dying to call Mo. It says that Mo is salty. So if Mo is salty, what kind of a snack food does that make Mo Brooks? He's very white, and he's awfully salty. He'll make your mouth dry. Salty Mo Brooks congratulates Dems after losing Senate runoff post-Trump snub. Representative Mo Brooks of Alabama projected to lose Alabama's GOP Senate primary runoff against rival Katie Britt after a full slap in the face from ex-President Donald Trump concluded his rocky campaign with some bitter words in his concession speech on Tuesday night. I'm going to let him say it himself. It was hard to find the footage, but it exists out there. Here you go, Mo Brooks from last night.
Democratic Party. You know you're on the right side of the issues when you're being opposed in a Republican primary by the executive director of the Alabama Democratic Party. You know you're...
I think he is accusing Katie Britt of being the executive director of the Alabama Democratic Party, which is weird because she was an aide for Senator Richard Shelby.
Doing the right thing for America when you're being opposed by the most prominent Democrat in North Alabama, Parker Griffiths, Democrat state senator, Democrat congressman, Democrat gubernatorial candidate. And
Well, maybe they all just endorse Britt because she's not batshit.
you know you're on the right side. So, congratulations to the Democrats. They now have 2 nominees in the general election, Will Boyd and my opponent, who they endorsed and helped push over the finish line both in the primary and...
Now, this motherfucker lost by like fucking half.
I'd be remiss if I did not congratulate.
She got like 65% of the vote to his like 35. She got like double the votes he did.
For open borders and cheap foreign labor. They were
Pushed her over the finish line. My ass. She handily won.
giving millions of dollars, directly or indirectly, to help ensure that they got open borders and cheap foreign labor. Now, I disagree with them 100%, but by golly, congratulations to them because they won.
By golly. Now, this is also Mo's final speech in politics. Maybe not. He's still a congressman until January.
Pleased about congratulating these special interests, but they rule.
But he has announced he is retiring from politics.
They corrupt the public policy debate with the way in which they handle these matters. They fund the campaign so they can do the kind of dirty work that they did.
He couldn't win a Senate race, so now he's going to take his ball and go home.
4 people in particular who put in $15+ million into helping my opponent win.
Also, I would have structured the show differently if I'd known this when I was actually putting the show together. But he has now been subpoenaed by the January 6th committee, so
I'd be remiss if I did not add that if America...
For those of you who do not know,
No reason to have elections. If
Mo gave a very impassioned speech on January 6th, wearing a flak jacket in front of Trump supporters. That is how scared he was for his own life. He knew how dangerous these fucks were.
who our rulers are going to be.
Who our rulers are gonna be.
Happened in this particular election where they have defamed the
But now I do have to point out that one time Mo complimented me on my fingernail polish. I was the floor director at a TV station. He was a guest of our political talk show host. Yes. I was behind the camera of the political show. I also thought it was a travesty. people would come and gather around because after we would get finished filming, and like I had somebody in the production booth hated it when I called it filming because there's no film involved. After we would finish filming the show for the week, I would sit down with the host and like be like, you said this, that's wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. And like it would end up with like a fucking hour debate after he got done shooting his show, and people would come from all over the TV station to watch us argue. I'm like, this is the show, dude. This is the show. Why do I even proposed it to him multiple times. I'm like, man, you and I should do a show together. A Hannity and Combs kind of deal, but I'm not going to be your bitch boy, though. I'm not going to lay down for you. I'm going to give it to you just as hard as you give it to me, and I want you to come at me as hard as you can. Never going to happen. Right-wingers don't like that. I interviewed to be his producer of his radio show. But I realized he wanted me to sit there and not say much. And that ain't gonna happen. It was producer, co-host. But it was clear what he wanted from a producer, and like, that's not the part I'm gonna play. I'm gonna fucking poke you. I bring this up because, like, Mo is best friends with the dude. Well, the sad part is I'm talking about a guy by the name of Del Jackson. I played his videos before. It's like, he's not a bad commentator. He can hold his own. That's why I thought, like, hey, we could do a bang up if we did a show together. We like, instead of Crystal and Sagar, you know how Rising took off because it was the two different viewpoints. Like, we actually go at each other. We will take off. People will love that shit. But no, I can't get a right winger to square up with me. They want to be able to spout their bullshit unimpeded. That's just not the way I roll, homie. Let's talk about the other key takeaways from yesterday's election. I'm sorry. I didn't give you guys the election graphics as we cover the goings on from yesterday. The primary season continued on Tuesday with more elections in Alabama, Georgia, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. In Alabama, Katie Britt, who was endorsed by former President Donald Trump, will defeat Representative Mo Brooks. In Georgia, CNN projects that two Trump-endorsed GOP House candidates will lose their respective primary runoffs. In the race for Secretary of State, B. Nugent will win the Democratic nomination and face off against GOP incumbent Brad Raffensperger. In Virginia, Republicans pick nominees who they hope can defeat Democratic incumbents in two House districts. In Washington, D.C., Mayor Muriel Bowser will win the Democratic mayoral primary as she seeks a third term. They said mayoral primary, but like, if you guys know anything about Washington, D.C., it is incredibly fucking blue. So the Democratic primary is basically the general election for the mayorship. It will indeed be Muriel Bauer again. I don't even know. Do the Republicans even run anybody? Or they might have like a top two or something, maybe. I don't even know how DC fucking works. It ain't even a state. Why would I pay attention to it? They won't even let you be a state. Today's stock market can be summed up by line go down. Line go down. U.S. stocks closed lower after volatile trading following Fed Chair Powell's testimony to lawmakers. The Fed isn't trying to pull the U.S. economy into a recession as it battles inflation, he told the Senate Banking Committee. U.S. stocks fell Wednesday after Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell aimed to quell investor anxiety about, oh shit, hold on. We put the rainbow back up. We're off of the election shit now. You guys need to correct me on that. Let me be up in here acting out of pocket. U.S. stocks fell Wednesday after Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell aimed to quell investor anxiety about a potential recession as the policymaker works to bring down scorching inflation through jacking up the cost of borrowing money. I'm trying to understand. I think the financial markets are the key to the news we're going to see over the next couple of years, and I'm trying to understand it. I watched a video the other day. I've been reading a hell of a lot of news pieces on this, and I still don't fucking understand it. Economics is a mystery to me. I think it's a mystery to most people. I think I'm just the only person that's willing to admit they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. All I know is that somehow somebody in the 80s had like a 17% interest rates, and interest rates are like fucking 0.75 right now. They had like a 17% interest rate and somehow paid less than we did. So I don't know, like the higher interest rates it's not a bad thing for us. The low interest rates are a bad thing for the banks, as I understand it. The S&P 500 was on track for its third straight win before turning lower as the session came to a close. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and the NASDAQ Composite also closed lower after turning higher earlier in the day. Stocks were on edge as investors considered a recent pileup of warnings from Wall Street banks and market luminaries. God. But a looming economic contraction on the back of the Fed's aggressive rate hike cycle. Powell at a Senate Banking Committee hearing on Wednesday told lawmakers the central bank's key goal is to pull down inflation rates. Inflation in May reached 8.6%. Would you like to hear what Fed Chair Jerome Powell had to say? First of all, he said that the markets can handle tighter Fed regulation.
One overarching message. At the Fed, we understand the hardship that high inflation is causing. We are strongly committed to bringing inflation back down, and we're moving expeditiously to do so. We have both the tools we need and the resolve it will take to restore price stability on behalf of American families and businesses. It is essential that we bring inflation down if we are to have a sustained period of strong labor market conditions that benefit all. I will review the current economic situation before turning to monetary policy.
That's what when we listen to these fucks talk, they are talking about like making us bear the brunt in order to make conditions, because what they're really worried about right now is the overheated job market. They've said this numerous times. There's an overheated job market. No, what they're saying is that workers have too much leverage. What's up, Negan? My man.
Inflation remains well above our longer-run goal of 2%. Over the 12 months in,
And that's another thing, Mox.
total PCE prices.
They have had that 0% interest, and they've been getting free money with that quantitative easing.
Energy categories, core PCE prices rose 4.9%. The available data for May suggests that the core measure likely held at that pace or eased slightly last month. Aggregate demand is strong, supply constraints have been larger and longer lasting than anticipated, and price pressures have spread to a broad range of goods and services.
Oh, you're at the Bonnaroo!
The surge in prices of crude oil and other commodities that resulted from Russia's invasion of Ukraine is boosting prices for gasoline. And
I tried to improve my monetary policy because a friend of mine came down. We bought 8 ounces of marijuana on Wednesday of last week at $50 an ounce. And I said, you know what? Bonnaroo is going on right now, and it's less than an hour away. We should take these ounces and we should cut them up into 8s and sell the 8s for $100 a pop. I did the math. It was like, that'd make us something like $4,000. Come back down and we'll get a pound tomorrow and do it all again. I would be worried about the cops up there in Manchester, though. They are dick wads. You got to see my boys. Pussifer. Wafu careen around. Got to see that Tool. I don't even remember who else was there. I just know Tool and Pussifer were there because Maynard's been posting about it. Sanctions and also monopolies. Monopolies doing what monopolies do.
Fuel and is creating additional upward pressure on inflation. And COVID-19 related lockdowns in China are likely to exacerbate ongoing supply chain disruptions. Over the past year, inflation also increased rapidly in many foreign economies, as discussed in a box.
China's pretty well opened back up. They still have like little localized lockdowns.
Edged down in the first quarter as unusually sharp swings in inventories and net exports more than offset continued strong underlying demand. Recent indicators suggest that real GDP growth has picked up this quarter, with consumption spending remaining strong. In contrast, growth in business fixed investment appears to be slowing, and activity in the housing sector looks...
Yeah, me too, sir, me too.
...in part because of higher mortgage rates. The tightening in financial conditions that we've seen in recent months should continue to temper growth.
Did I just pass the bong to him?
Better balance with supply. The labor market has remained extremely tight, with the unemployment rate near a 50-year low, job vacancies at historical highs, and wage growth elevated.
That's good. That's a good thing.
By an average of 408,000 jobs per month, down from the average pace seen earlier in the year, but still.
This homie don't smoke. This homie don't smoke right here. This is the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell. He testified in front of the Senate Banking Committee. And this is Elizabeth Warren giving him what for? I mean, I don't know if she was all that sassy
Chair
with
Powell,
him.
you said last week that interest rate increases, quote, moderate demand. Can you just explain a little more about what that means?
Sure. So we think about interest rate increases as affecting financial conditions and then the economy through three broad channels, the first of which is interest-sensitive spending. So that's durable goods and automobiles and things like that. So interest rates go up, people's demand for as a result of higher interest rates will moderate or decline so that supply and demand can get into better balance. The second channel is just asset prices generally. Interest rates, as they go up, will cause asset prices to moderate across the economy, and people spend a little bit less out of their
What's up, Ray?
wealth. The third channel is the exchange rate, which is really just another asset price, and that just basically as the dollar strengthens.
That's why I'm once again, I'm totally financial illiterate, but it really feels like they're trying to make us pay for trying to rise up. They don't like these unionization efforts, and they're wanting to tamp down on the economy.
As rates go up, the dollar would strengthen, which would tend to drive.
So I appreciate this, and I do. I appreciate the explanation, but let me just see if I can just put a little more plain vanilla explanation of what's going on here. If I understand what you've said,
Please do, ma'am.
You're saying across the board is that when you raise interest rate, there's going to be less money to invest, and that is, it's going to dampen business investment. Is that a fair statement?
I think the idea is to
Makes it more expensive
moderate demand
to invest,
so that it can be in better balance with supply.
Okay.
And
So
the current
it's gonna make it
situation,
more-
demand is well in excess of supply in some areas of our economy.
more expensive to invest, which in turn is going to throw workers out of work. And when they're out of work, they have less money to spend. So I get that rate increases stop companies from spending money to build new plants or to buy new trucks or to hire new people. Right, Chair Powell? When money's more expensive, they're less inclined to do that. I think that's what you just said on asset pricing, right?
Well, in the labor market, you have, as you know, you have a situation where there's a shortage of workers, and there are two job vacancies for every person who's actively looking for work. So part of this is to get the labor market back into balance.
Well, I appreciate you call it back into balance. What I'm trying to get at, though, is what does the tool of raising rates do? And part of what you just said is that it increases, in effect, the cost to invest, to buy those trucks or new plants or to hire new people. The reason I raise this and the reason I'm so concerned about this is rate increases make it more likely that companies will fire people and slash hours to shrink wage costs. Rate increases also make it more expensive for families to do things like borrow money for a house. And so far, the cost this year of a mortgage has already doubled. Inflation is like an illness, and the medicine needs to be tailored to the specific problem. Otherwise, you could make things a lot worse. And right now, the Fed has no control over the main drivers of rising prices, but the Fed can slow demand by getting a lot of people fired and making families poorer. And while President Biden is working to increase energy supply.
Now, that's what I felt like they're telling us. But once again, in the 80s, you were paying like a 17% interest rate. And somehow they were still like, it was cheaper loans than what we're paying now. So something's funky here.
Supplies and straighten out supply chain kinks and break up monopolies and bring down prices, you could actually tip this economy into recession.
I think they want to do that.
Worse than high inflation and low unemployment, it's high inflation and a recession with millions of people out of work. And I hope you'll reconsider that as you before you drive this economy off a cliff.
Let's talk about Fed Chairman Jerome Powell on Capitol Hill today. We heard from Senator Elizabeth Warren some concerns that these interest rate hikes could trigger.
I can't believe CNN is actually highlighting this.
You know what's worse than high inflation and low unemployment? It's high inflation and a recession with millions of people out of work.
Late stage capitalism on display.
As you before you drive this economy off a cliff.
So what's Powell saying to that?
Look, I mean, I think he's been very honest about the fact that this will not be an easy task. This idea of raising interest rates as high as it looks like they now will have to without curbing demand so much that it provokes.
Can we please get some new blood in there? Jerome Powell should not be the Fed chair.
A recession, Citibank saying just today that it sees the probability of a recession reaching 50%. Here's how Powell responded.
Underemployment is out of control.
Do you agree with the perspective, and then I'll be done, but do you agree with the perspective that if interest rates go too high, too fast, it could drive us into a recession?
Certainly a possibility. It's not our intended outcome at all, but it's certainly a possibility.
But it's certainly a possibility.
And guys, I was reading through some comments Powell made earlier this year, just trying
Bust or when most of the capital accumulation consolidation happens.
Provide some grounds.
It is going to be heartbreaking to watch them swoop in and gobble up what is left of the housing stock when the market crashes again. So let's hear from one of the best senators, Senator Sherrod Brown of Ohio, questioning Powell.
Well, thank you. I have a series of questions. I have not asked my questions. I was saving them for last. But and then after
Eat the rich!
Russia's and aggression in Ukraine, port congestion and COVID lockdowns in China especially have contributed to higher prices.
Now, what does this mean when you're seeing the markets in real time? And they were up before Powell spoke. What does that mean? And then the markets took a dive.
Consumer spending continues to be strong. Most Americans probably worry about inflation. Talk for a moment, if you would, about the strengths of the American economy now and whether or not you see positive signs of prices stabilizing.
Well, consumers are overall, not every consumer, but overall the consumer sector is in very strong shape financially. There's, as you know, a very substantial accumulated quantity of savings on balance sheets. less so at the very bottom of the income spectrum, but right across the rest of the spectrum. And so that's there to support spending even in the face of higher inflation.
Based Powell even admits that sex is a spectrum.
And you're seeing consumer spending hold up pretty well. Sorry, the rest of your question.
Well, are there positive signs of prices stabilizing?
So in terms
The
of
market means shit to us. I'm just trying to interpret it for news purposes. I have been starting with financial stories the last couple of days, or highlighting financial stories especially, because like something's going on here. You know, like, even though this show is called The Troll Patrol, I try to educate viewers. I try to learn shit with you guys. Something fucky is about, and we're getting ready to have a crash. Ooh, you want a stock ticker? I've thought about it. I've thought about running like fake stories and shit. It's just too much to keep up with. I don't think I haven't had all those fucking ideas. Line go down, people get fired. But okay, so here's the thing though. Do I have this chart of what the stock market actually has looked like over time? Get you the stock market over the last century. I think I showed this the other day. Oh, fuck off. Oh shit, it's super. But like, it should be in this range. This is normal economic growth. This is normal government restriction. This is when the U.S. God, I can't even see the time period, but this is like the 70s. This is like the 70s, 80s, 90s. This is the crash of 2008, I assume. God, I can't fucking see it. Oh, this is the 80s stock market crash here. God damn. Like, this is 2008. No? Oh, this graph, I was assuming this was the pandemic. This graph doesn't go. This graph goes to 2010. This is 2010 right here. So this is 2008. This is the 80s stock market crash. This is 1929. Yes. So this is what a normal functioning stock market is supposed to look like. This range right here. This shit is what is wrong. Here we go. Here's your good graph. I'm going to put it in my graph. So this goes up to God, I don't even know how to read this motherfucker. I'm going to stop. I can't do this. I know jack shit. Oh, I thought you were telling me to go get a cat, Sassy. I was like, I'll go get a cat.
It's coming down, and we don't.
Did somebody request a cat? I didn't know about it.
That we have that. I will say that core PCE inflation is a pretty good indicator of where underlying inflation is running. And it has moderated over the course.
And a sensing hearing. I'm sorry.
Significantly from where it was in the last.
Remember, this Senator Brown's gonna come back to us.
Higher than it needs to be. We need to see a lot more progress. But just it's been running at a rate over the last, say, four or 5 months that is lower than it was, at least. But again, still far too high. So we're looking for that. We're not really seeing it yet. There are lots of stories out there how this should happen, and some people think it's very clear that it will. And until we actually do see it happen, we need to keep keep moving.
And I want to be clear from your comments publicly, your comments to this committee.
I'm sorry I showed you a chart I couldn't even fucking interpret. I pulled this shit up like, oh, and it looks like the one I showed you before, but much clearer. But I have no fucking clue what was on the x-axis to tell you how it was measured, what time period it was for. No fucking idea. And yes, Sherrod Brown is quite possibly, and sometimes when we're riding in the car, Sparkles gets really annoyed with me because I'll just go off talking about bullshit. And the other night we were coming back from dinner and I was like, who's the coolest senator? I'm like a kid, I bet. Like, who do you think the coolest senator is? I was like, I think it's Sherrod Brown. Oh, it's Bernie Sanders, of course. But who after Bernie? Sherrod Brown. Elizabeth Warren, is she cool? What do you think about Cory Booker? He's all right, isn't he? A little bit of a shit lip. That's the kind of shit that I do in the car. And she turns up like fucking Princess Nokia or some shit. Round me out. Oh fuck! Oh yeah. We've got all this to watch. I am so sorry.
Today, you say the economy is not at the point of a recession, correct?
I don't see the likelihood of a recession as particularly elevated right now. You should know that
my buzz is in a recession.
Good at forecasting recessions very far out. No one's been able to do that regularly. But I would say that the U.S. economy for now is strong, and spending is strong. Consumers are in good shape. Businesses are in good shape. Clearly, financial conditions have tightened, and you're seeing growth slow from the very elevated levels of last year.
Is he trying to convince himself of that?
You're seeing the beginnings of job growth slowing to more sustainable levels, and there's risk in that. There's obviously risk in that. Monetary policy is famously a blunt tool, and there's risk that weaker outcomes are certainly possible, but they're not our intent.
And as I said at the beginning of my testimony, or my opening statement, that a couple hours ago, that our economy is growing faster than China's. Let me ask a few simple questions about gas prices. We've heard a lot today about gas prices from both.
Rat fucking mode.
You, yes or no's? Does President Biden set gas prices?
No.
Does Congress set gas prices?
Not as far as I know.
Do you, as chair of the Federal Reserve, set gas prices?
No.
I wouldn't ask you to assign a sort of quantum responsibility, but starting with the decisions of OPEC and the world's major oil companies to not produce more, can you tell the committee briefly what goes into the price at the pump and ultimately what tools you have, Congress has, other government agencies have to bring the price down?
It's really principally the price of oil, which is set globally by the actions of largely by the actions of large oil-producing countries. And then it's the refining spread, what it costs to refine and what the refiners can charge before the public consumes that refined product. So those are the two pieces of it, and we don't have really, our tools certainly don't work to address either of those things.
Let me talk for a moment about housing. Several have asked about the skyrocketing costs for both renters and aspiring homeowners. Prices over the last 2 years, but prices weren't that great prior to President Biden and the last administration either, we know.
Good Lord. It's an understatement.
Faster than wages. What are the short-term and long-term effects on inflation in our economy if renters see more and more of their monthly income going to housing?
That will crowd out other kinds of spending, and that's the very fast increases in housing prices over the last couple of years have been very broad across the country and unsustainably high.
In that,
I can't imagine that we haven't already given back what we got to the top 1%.
Values collapse by some 2,000, so by some
the top 3%, however you want to frame it.
The past few weeks, consumers losing money, workers losing jobs. The Monetary Policy Report highlighted the risks of stable coins, digital assets that aim to maintain a stable value in order to trade cryptocurrencies. Talk for a moment, if you would, about the financial stability and monetary policy risks that these assets pose, and how are stablecoins different? In your answer, include how stablecoins are different from the U.S. dollar, which has the full faith and credit of the United States behind it.
A stable coin is an instrument really that is backed up in it.
You guys bring up an excellent point, is that a lot of people want to talk about the money that went to the citizens to help them through the pandemic, but nobody wants to talk about like the Wall Street fucking bailout. The crystal ball pointing out to Bill Maher that the fucking market crashed in 2020. He's like, I don't remember a crash. Dude, what the fuck? I could show it to you on the chart if I could read the fucking chart, right? If that chart goes up to 2020. But like we totally, whatever it costs to send every American, what would we end up getting? $3,000 roughly. I don't remember the exact amount altogether. 4,000 tops. All of that together, I'm sure like corporations got quadruple, 5 times that amount. Just shoveled at them. Because especially in the first one when the Republicans were in charge. Especially in the first tranche where like they gave out the was it $1,200 the first time? $1,800? I don't even remember. It's $1,200 the first time. God! 2020 seems so long ago now.
There's a reserve that has securities in it that are meant to assure the value of that, of let's say it's $1 stable coin. So it's meant to assure that your interest is actually worth $1.
1,200 and then 800.
That sounds a lot like a money market fund, for example. And the way money market funds work is there's great transparency about what's in the reserve and their requirements about what must be in the reserve in order to preserve that $1 value. The world of stablecoins is new and emerging, and it doesn't have the sort of fit-for-purpose regulatory scheme that it needs to. And I think that's something you've been hearing a lot across the board from a number of federal agencies and from...
I forgot Biden still owes me $600.
...to try to put in place, and many members of Congress now have proposed new frameworks for regulating stablecoins and digital assets generally, and that seems...
So $3,200 in total.
And you don't... Clearly SEC, clearly CFPB, other agencies, the Fed's role in regulation.
And some people maybe got $400 a week in unemployment.
That's one of
possibly back at the beginning it was like fucking $700 a week.
Congress would need to clarify. What we have authority over what
they cut that shit pretty fast. They're like, ooh, that is too generous.
The SEC has jurisdiction over securities. The CFTC has relevant jurisdiction. So part of this will be sorting out, deciding what these things are and how they should be regulated. There are stable coins that are really used in connection with the crypto trading platforms. That's most of what happens now with stable coins, but there are also some stable coins and even more potentially that will be used in payments broadly. So that would be 2 different kinds of regulation there. It's just an area where Congress and Congress is investing bandwidth.
It was a big deal, though. I know all about it. I took advantage of it.
A healthy process that should lead over time to something that has bipartisan support and puts in place appropriate regulation for the whole area.
It helped me out tremendously, but then it kind of fucked me over because I was afraid to take on new clients and shit.
The Commodities Future Trading Commission understand what you said about SEC.
So then when they yanked it from me, I'm like, oh shit.
Directly involved in any of these regulatory actions regarding cryptocurrency, absent Congress action?
Just we regulate banks, regulate and supervise banks, and so we have a say in what our banks, the Federal Reserve regulated banks and bank holding companies do.
This dude isn't the right dude for the job just based on his face. You're too fucking old. Go retire. You're probably rich as all fucking hell. Get the fuck out of there.
Because of your oversight of them on crypto?
I mean, American banks are interested in
Don't do crypto. Friends don't let friends do
their
crypto.
profitable opportunities to serve our customers in this new space. And of course, what we're doing is saying, let's be sure that that takes place in a way that preserves and supports safety and soundness. And we've had a ongoing set of meetings and collaborations with the FDIC and the OCC. And that's ongoing, I guess, between us and the OCC. So I think that's an appropriate way to carry it forward. But it's not a substitute for what I think is
when heads roll, I guess it'll just be his time to go.
Ultimately,
like I was ready to retire.
To create a regulatory framework that is more fit for purpose for it, as it has in so many other cases.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair Powell. I look forward to continue working together. For senators who wish to
Look forward to more of Senator Brown. I wish they would go ahead and toss Powell overboard. Oh, God. I'm going to have to pack the bong again. We move from inflation to talking about Biden's proposed gas tax holiday. We did the story last night. Not really going to make an effect on the consumer side. What was it, 18 cents? It's good politics. He should do it for the political reasons, but God, they even made up a fucking board and everything that says suspend federal gas tax. Don't you just have a fucking giant ass TV you can put on a screen, you can project shit? What's up with that? That might be a screen, I don't know.
I'm announcing to bring down gas prices. First, today I'm calling on Congress to suspend the federal gas tax for the next 90 days through the busy summer season, busy travel season. Here's what that means.
Now let's make one thing perfectly clear. Congress is only going to be in session for tick a couple more days. They getting ready to recess for their July 4th holiday. They off for 2 weeks.
Means every time you go to the gas station to fill your tank, the federal government charges an 18-cent tax per gallon of gas that you purchase and a 24-cent tax per gallon of diesel you purchase. It's a tax that's been around for 90 years. It's important because we use it for the Highway Trust Fund.
Okay, that is a screen.
Going. But
they had some kind of fucking shit made up for him.
Without affecting the Highway Trust Fund. And here's how we do that. With the tax revenues up this year and our deficit down over $1.6 trillion this year alone, we'll still be able to fix our highways and bring down prices of gas. We can do both at the same time. By suspending the 18-cent gas tax, federal gas tax, for the next 90 days, we can bring down the price of gas and give families just a little bit of relief. I call on the companies to pass this along, every penny of this 18-cent reduction to the consumers.
Will they? Will they?
Now for profiteering.
I mean, my prediction was you'll see a 10-cent reduction.
In the Senate, and I hope my call for action can help move those proposals forward as well.
I can't believe that they don't try to pocket at least a cent or two off of it.
In another way. That's why the second action I'm taking is calling on states to either suspend the state gas tax as well or find other ways to deliver some relief. State gas taxes average 30 cents per gallon. Already, some states have acted. In Connecticut and New York.
Now remember now, he has to do this because it has to look like he's doing something. They contemplated sending out gas cards. But they couldn't do that because there was a chip shortage. They couldn't get the chips for the cards to send everybody a gas card. So this is their solution, is to try to suspend the federal gas tax. Which, of all the fucking... The gas tax is not the problem here. The gas tax is not the problem. This is just Biden looking like he's doing something.
The governors have temporarily suspended their gas tax as well. In Illinois and Colorado, governors delayed theirs to give families a bit more breathing room as well. In Minnesota, Governor Walsh proposes using state budget surpluses to give households a rebate that will help them pay for gas at the pump or other essential needs. I'm calling on more states.
You probably could have at least like sold it to somebody for some like actual money, or sold it for some drugs or some shit. It might have had your name on it though, because the fucking Democrats, they always got to means test everything. We always got to make you jump through hoops. So you might have had to go to the gas station, use your gas card. How fucking stupid.
The local governments to take actions like these. Thanks to our historic economic recovery.
That'd just be like telling a drug dealer, hey, take me to the gas station, I'll let you have all this money on this gas card. I'll fill your tank up.
We're now in a strong position to be able to
give me drugs.
Some of these actions. Now, I fully understand that a gas tax holiday alone is not going to fix the problem, but it will provide families some immediate relief, just a little bit of breathing room as we continue working to bring down prices for the long haul. Third, I'm calling on the industry to refine more oil into gasoline and to bring down gas prices. Let me explain. I know my Republican friends claim we're not producing enough oil, and I'm limiting oil production. Quite frankly, that's nonsense. Here's the truth. Just this month, America produced 12 million barrels of oil.
Ah, but Ray, that is where you're wrong. The government's not being stupid. Government's just not acting in your interest. It appears stupid to us because you would hope that Biden is acting on your behalf, and to an extent he is. There are some good things we can point to. Judges, the labor board. Biden has indeed been the most labor-friendly administration, but that was such an incredibly low bar because most administrations had been openly hostile to labor. So him just being tepidly approving of a labor movement is indeed being the most labor-friendly president of the last century. Or since FDR, that's the way they said it. Since FDR, it wouldn't be the last century. So he was elected by business people who were scared of Trump. You know, we have a contingent of business people in this country who are just openly fascist and want to just run us completely off the cliff. But then there's just a modestly fascist bunch of neoliberals, and most of them used to be Republicans and got scared by how fucking batshit crazy the Republicans are, and are now Democrats, or like the Lincoln Project, auditioning to be part of the Democratic Party, or trying to message their way into the Democratic Party. And that's we're in a weird coalition. We on the left are in a coalition with a friendly fascist neoliberal, to borrow a phrase from a much better politician, with friendly fascists that'll wear pride flags and nominally give some lip service to causes we care about. We need a strong labor movement because, and unfortunately this shit takes so fucking long. And I get upset with my friends who are more radical than I am, and they're like, "Oh, look what voting Democrat didn't get me anything. Look what they're doing. They're not blah blah blah." But it's like, it's not the act of voting once. Unfortunately, you have to play the long game on this. The Pat Buchanan, and that's what it is. The MAGA movement is the offshoot of the Pat Buchanan wing of the Republican Party, which was only a fringe movement in the Nixon administration. And it took them decades to build that coalition. I always point to Frank Zappa singing about it in the mid-'80s. The evangelical movement coalescing around that batshit crazy part of the Republican Party, and they ran out all of the liberals. They took the party over we have to do that to the Democratic Party, and unfortunately, that process doesn't happen in just a few election cycles. It's a decades-long process. I'm amazed as fuck at how far we have come in the 20 or so years that I've been active in politics in my adult life. However, I mean, we've got to get fucking these old fucks out of the way. That's the biggest problem we have right now, is that and I know, RB, I'm sorry, the baby boom generation is just hanging in, but like, Biden's not even the baby boom generation. I feel like, isn't he like pre-baby boomer? Like, he's like the Korean War generation or some shit. And I know you don't want me to pick on generations, but like, this is the share of the wealth by age. So the baby boomers start when they're 35. They had 25% of the wealth. A Generation Xer. It's weird that it cuts off and says millennials at 2019, because, like, I guess you'd put me here. Because I'm a millennial, but I was 35 in... I was 35 in... How old am I now? Am I 38? 38. I was totally 35 in 2019. They're saying millennials are like 32 in 2019. Battle of Possum. Sorry, my overlay is blocking you. But that shows you how little of the share of the wealth that we have compared to what the baby boomers had. How fucking little we have compared to Gen X. But Gen X got the shaft too. Gen X got the shaft too. Just not quite as bad as we did. And unfortunately, all this wealth that has accumulated, in the baby boomers is going to get drained from them. We're not going to inherit it, because it's going to get sucked out of each and every one of them by this capitalist system that's going to sell them end-of-life care. It's going to be incredibly fucking expensive, almost certain to bankrupt a good number of them. Tones! Love you! So this wealth isn't actually going to make its way to Generation X and millennials. So yes, I hate to bitch about generations and everything, but like, getting crusty fucks like Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer out of the fucking way, and getting some fresh blood, some people who RB loves to bring up the lost cause propaganda. They're the generation most likely to have gotten the biggest dose of lost cause propaganda. They're the generation that was brought up on this capitalist, America is the greatest nation in the world. Any other type of system would result in poverty. So get to the grocery store and buy your Tide and drink your Pepsi, motherfucker. They're the ones with the Red Scare just built into them. Because you got to remember, their generation grew up, instead of having active shooter drills, they had nuclear war drills, and they got under their fucking desks. Had these scary fucking videos. Show that Hogan meme. Which Hogan meme? This Hogan meme? When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside. You had shooter drills in high school? We did not yet. I'm sure that I was like, not good, 'cause like, our high school was constructed in like 1994, 1995. I can't remember what year it opened. But like it had patios and shit for us to go sit out on because like that was, my fucking brother could go and leave the school and go to the convenience store and buy cigarettes and shit, and they had a smoking area in the school. So like the school was constructed with like a patio and shit, but like we never really got to take advantage of all of the like the outdoor amenities of the school because Columbine happened my 8th grade year. So I get up to the high school and now like I remember like only one door was open to the school, and like I don't remember if they had cameras when I was there, but they were there shortly thereafter when I was returning there as news director. You had to like smile at the camera and shit to get in. But we never had any shooter drills. But as I said, that was my freshman year of high school, would have been 1 year removed from Columbine. So like it probably was coming. It probably hit the kids that were right behind me. 80s Hogan was indeed how the baby boomers got taught U.S. history. It happened my 8th grade year, but like I was in a small town in eastern Kentucky. So it's a different mentality. Kentucky kind of runs a little bit behind. I'm amazed it didn't go nuts. We had the kid, or one of the kids that did the lily bed killings in East Tennessee off of the interstate. It became like A&E did a documentary about it. I think there was like a Maury episode about it. These like kids that were inspired by Marilyn Manson that were wearing all black and trench coats and painted their nails black. This would have been right before Columbine. They like went on like a road trip and saw this family at a rest area off of 81 Interstate 81 outside of Kingsport and Johnson City. They like kidnapped the family. Goss, exactly. They kidnapped the family and like killed, like it was like children and everything. I think one of the girls got out or something. Like, you know, she wasn't fit to stand trial or some shit. She did like 20 years in a mental program or something like that. I might be wrong on that, but I feel like one of them got out, but like the rest of them are still locked up. But I'm surprised, like with one of them being from like the school I went to. They were all from my school district. I'm amazed like the schools didn't freak out more than what they, which I mean they did freak out. It was like another satanic panic. Just like the panics that are going on right now. Wow. First week of college and 9/11 happens. It was my senior year. It happened my senior year of high school. And we didn't have TVs. Or we had TVs, but we didn't have any kind of cable service that you could watch. We had the intra-school. Like, I was on the cable service at my high school because of course I was. I was broadcasting my own radio show during lunch over the intercom because of course I was. I don't know where I was going with that. But we didn't have TV. Like, you could watch Justin Freakin'. You could even Battle Opossum. had a popular segment on our channel. Doing the weather, I believe, but this was fucking 20 years ago, 25 years ago. Shit, I think my 20-year reunion was this year. It was. Fucking, I'm getting old. Not as old as Joe Biden. God damn. I'm tired of him. I can't do it anymore. We gotta get to the good shit. I do indeed have good shit. Battle Opossum, stick around. I've got good shit. I promise you. This next story, when I get to it, this is gonna crack you up. We gotta cover a couple things first. The January 6th panel revises hearing schedule, citing new evidence. Representative Benny Thompson said they had to consider new footage of the Trump family, documents from the National Archives, and tips they had received during previous hearings. So after the committee's Thursday hearing, they're going to shut it down for a couple weeks. And then they're going to resume hearings in July, Thompson said. Thompson cited newly received footage from documentarian Alex Holder. So the documentary footage is... It was previously unknown film of the Trump and family.
Rhinos plus Democrat.
Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares about you. As I get ready to read a story about him, the House January 6th Select Committee has taken possession of recently discovered video footage shot by Alex Holder, a documentary filmmaker who had access to former President Donald Trump, former Vice President Mike Pence, Mr. Trump's children, and other confidants in the month leading to the Capitol riot. The spokesperson for Mr. Holder, Liz Trotter, told The Independent Mr. Holder has provided the Select Committee with all the footage it requested in a 15th of June subpoena. It said the documentarian will appear before the panel in a deposition on Thursday. Oh, shit. Are we going to get to hear from him tomorrow? CBS News reported right before we came on, they've got images. CBS News obtains images from documentary film footage given to January 6th panel. So let's hear what CBS has to say.
Now to some exclusive reporting ahead of tomorrow's January 6th hearing. CBS News has learned that the committee has gained access to footage from inside the Trump White House, both before and after the attack on the Capitol. CBS's Robert Costa joins now with the details. Wow, what have we learned?
There are new breaking developments on the January 6th front. The committee announced today it will hold additional hearings in July because it keeps gathering new evidence. Some of that new evidence comes from British filmmaker Alex Holder, who is going to meet with the committee tomorrow morning in a private deposition. CBS News has exclusively obtained 2 images from his upcoming 3-part series called Unprecedented. One shows...
Are you talking about my shirt?
Ivanka Trump, the president's eldest daughter. The other shows him interviewing President Trump. He talked to
the documentarian with his shirt open.
It reveals the access he had to the inside of the Trump...
Trying to look all cool.
During that period. Tomorrow, we're going to hear at the hearing from former top Justice Department officials.
He looks like a sleazebag. Oh, my Pussifer shirt.
On them to buy in to his movement, that Stop the Steal idea. They're going to talk about a dramatic moment in the Oval Office where many of them threatened to resign if Trump got his way.
Well, some new tapes in this particular that we're going to probably hear from Robert Costa. Thank you.
Are we going to get to see the footage tomorrow? Or are we going to get to see the footage? They subpoenaed it on the 15th. Oh, I hope we're going to get to see some of it tomorrow. Damn. Meanwhile, a West Virginia state delegate who screamed, "Derek Evans is in the Capitol," has been sentenced for breaching the Capitol. He later deleted the video of him, admitting to the crime. Former West Virginia state lawmaker Derek Evans was sentenced to 3 months on Wednesday for his part in the U.S. Capitol attack. Evans had live-streamed himself joining the throng of Donald Trump supporters as some individuals smashed their way into the building and then opened the rotunda doors for the rest of the mob. He narrated his exploits as he went along, shouting, "Leroy Jenkins!" Evans later deleted the video, but it featured prominently in prosecutors' case against him. After initially pleading not guilty, defending himself by saying he committed no criminal act, Evans took a plea deal. Probably the best for you, sir. And yes, he did delete the video, but you know, it's the internet. It exists. Let's see you, Leroy Jenkins, yourself.
Go home, man, go home. We're in, baby. Stop pushing, guys. Stop pushing. Stop pushing. Woo! We're in. Derek Evans is in the Capitol.
Derek Evans is in the Capitol.
Go home, man, go home. We're in, baby. Stop pushing, guys. Stop pushing. Stop pushing.
Leroy Jenkins.
We're in. Derek Evans is in the Capitol.
Oh. Right-wingers are morons. He told Judge Royce C. Lamberth that he accepts responsibility for his actions. Seated nearby a large Evans family photo, Lamberth reportedly wished Evans well, telling him that he considered sentencing Evans to 6 months behind bars. Evans' attorney had asked for no jail time. I just can't give you probation in a case like this. It doesn't reflect the feeling of the country, the judge said. Who cares? It's not supposed to be about the feeling of the country. The dude committed the fucking crime. Oh my God. Can you imagine if this dude was a black person dealing drugs? Well, it's just, I can't just give you probation in this case. It's just not the feeling of the country, you know. I gotta give you 3 months. They would never talk about them like that. They would never talk about a minority defendant like that, ever. I don't want another riot in the next election, Lamberth added. At the time of the riot, the father of 4 had recently been elected to represent West Virginians in the state's House of Delegates. 3 days later, he was forced to resign. After releasing a very brief statement announcing his resignation, Evans released a second, slightly longer statement expressing regret, writing, "I take full responsibility for my actions and deeply regret any hurt, pain, or embarrassment I may have caused my family, friends, constituents, and fellow West Virginians." Yeah, especially since the country loves drugs. Judge says Fox News' parent company must face Dominion's defamation lawsuit because of Rupert Murdoch's alleged role in pushing election lies. A Delaware judge on Tuesday said that Fox News' parent company must face a defamation lawsuit from Dominion Voting Systems, ruling that the election company's allegations that Rupert and Lachlan, we do this every time, Lachlan Murdoch intentionally pushed election lies had enough merit to move the case forward. Delaware Superior Court Judge Eric M. Davis ruled in December that Dominion's $1.6 billion lawsuit could proceed against Fox News. The new decision denied a separate motion to dismiss the lawsuit from Fox Corporation, which is run by its chairman, Rupert Murdoch, and his son, CEO Lachlan Murdoch. You like that? You like the way I put the on it? According to Davis, Dominion has sufficiently argued that the parent company may also be liable for pushing falsehoods claiming Dominion rigged the 2020 presidential election against then President Donald Trump and in favor of now President Joe Biden. I love it. Couldn't happen to nicer people. I say that with all sincerity. Both of those statements were sarcastic. I would hope. I mean, it seems clear as day. It seems clear as day that. It seems clear as day that they defamed the company. And 1.6 billion. I bet you could easily make the argument that a company that big providing election systems to municipalities all over the world could indeed suffer $1.6 billion in damages. Everything seems perfectly reasonable. Does Maduro get a cut of that lawsuit, buddy? Oh, fuck. Is Chavez going to be a witness? Are they going to bring Hugo Chavez, the ghost of Hugo Chavez, going to testify on behalf of Fox News that he did indeed do it? Dominion was in on it. Don't sue me, Dominion. I'm on your side. I'm mocking the idiots. Oh, fuck. You never know with our court system. That is entirely true. That's why I didn't speak in certainty about it. I'm pretty confident they've got a case. Hey, is Dominion willing to settle is the deal. Are they willing to settle the case, or are they want to make a public showing of Fox News? I hope they're wanting to make a public showing of it. I need to hit the content warning for this. Speaking of people that need a public showing made out of them, this cop quite possibly needs to be, God, how can I say it without terms of service? In the town square for reasons. Omaha police launch internal investigation into recorded use of force. Arrest. Officer has been placed on paid administrative leave. This was breaking in the last few hours. Video of the arrest was recorded by a private individual and shared on social media platforms. It just goes to tell how much of this shit do they get away with that isn't recorded by... It's on body camera. Other cops have seen it. Other cops that are supposed to be upholding the law have seen it. But if it wasn't for social media pressure, this cop would still be on the job, wouldn't he? Wouldn't he? I'm assuming this is the full video, and then we'll get the local news hit here. And I'm assuming this is a minor. He is manhandling a kid.
Dude. He's a 12-year-old.
A 12-year-old, they said. Boom. Motherfucker. Pounds his head again into the side of the cruiser. Are the SUVs still called cruisers? Or is that just the sedans? Sick fucks indeed.
He's a 12-year-old.
You know, Mox, you're probably right. They probably do indeed pass their body camera footage around. I can't imagine a child being handled like that. That's why we're against cops around here.
Omaha police confirm a use of force investigation is underway and one officer is on leave.
Chief Todd.
It should just be a use of force. He should be charged with assault of a minor. He should be charged with assault of a minor. He should be fired immediately. He shouldn't be on administrative leave. Fuck that shit. And you guys know, I think cops should be held to a higher standard. I've proposed this law many times. I call it the Higher Standard Act. That cops need to face double what the mandatory minimum is for any fucking charge. Whatever the standard charging procedure is, hit them with double. Double. You're a cop, you should know better. Assault of a minor.
Todd Schmatter says he's aware of the video you're about to see. A viewer sent it to us from 33rd and Burt Tuesday
Dude.
Police say that officers were looking for juveniles who trespassed at a private apartment pool.
Trespassed at a pool. Some 12-year-olds trespassed at an apartment pool. Are you fucking shitting me? The crime that cop committed are more egregious than the crime of trespassing. Kids trespassing at a pool at an apartment complex. Wow. And I hope that thud that we hear when the video starts is not that kid's head colliding with the glass.
Well, police say they warned the group about trespassing, and that's when police say one of the boys lunged at an officer twice. We did not see that in the 2.5 minutes of video provided leading up to the arrest, but you can see a different police officer restraining the boy moments earlier. We've reached out to Omaha Police for clarity about all this, but the department has not provided any.
Lunged at him.
Instead, we're limited to what's in the police report. It alleges the boy also yelled profanity at an officer, along with
who cares?
Like, you can't do anything to me. Police say an officer warned the boy to.
Oh, so a 12-year-old boy mocked you. Got under your skin. That's what fucking happened, copper. Oh my God. And then they actually have the audacity to use that excuse. Well, he taunted me and said I couldn't do anything to him, so I had to slam him to the fucking ground. I had to slam his head against the cruiser just to show him who's in authority here. Bug off.
To leave, but he refused, then lunged at an officer. The report alleges the boy then kicked and fought as the officer tried to put him in handcuffs.
Good on him. I hope he got some licks
The
in.
officer's body camera was knocked off during the struggle. Police also say the boy tried to hit on the officer who escorted him to the police cruiser. Again, we've reached out to Omaha Police for a response on camera. The department says it is, quote, sticking to the issued statement for now.
There you go. Fuck. You want some more police incompetence for your night? Let's talk about the Uvalde police chief. He has now been put on administrative leave. And I think Police Chief Pete Arredondo should be charged with negligent homicide. I have stated this multiple times. Police Chief Pete Arredondo should be charged with negligent homicide. Uvalde School District Police Chief Pedro Pete Arredondo was placed on leave on Wednesday, according to a news release from the Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District. Because of the lack of clarity that remains and the unknown timing of when I will receive the results of the investigations, I've made the decision to place Chief Arredondo on administrative leave effective on this date. I don't know how, with what you know already, that doesn't get somebody fucking fired. He clearly did not do his job. That because he was one of the ones that was in the building, within 3 minutes? Or was he one of the ones that was there within 17 minutes? He was there within a very short time frame. And he did not enter the classroom. Lieutenant Mike Hernandez is assuming the duties of the UCISD Chief of Police. The superintendent wrote that he had intended to wait for an investigation to be finished before making personnel decisions. Fuck. Today, I'm still without details of the investigation being conducted by various agencies. Arredondo testified on Tuesday behind closed doors. Remember, he was a coward. There were several hearings held in Texas yesterday. He would not testify in open air. The answers to what happened on May 24th when 21 people were gunned down in an elementary school But he has not spoken publicly about his decision-making on the day of the shooting. The school district's announcement comes a day after the Uvalde City Council, of which Arredondo is a new member, voted to deny his request for a leave of absence. He wanted to go on vacation for a little while. I'm just sick to my stomach over this whole story. I think they shot a kid. I absolutely think they shot a kid. We know that their incompetence got a kid shot, and they are still covering up hard. It's all speculation. It is all speculation. But why else are they covering it up? I don't have the meme handy. It's on my phone. I'm sorry I keep coming at you with the kid death. It's all about kid death tonight. My apologies. Was there a show a cop harass a kid? Kids dying. Fucking. Here is a man who was convicted of murder, has now had his conviction reversed for leaving a kid in a hot car. Now, I have mixed feelings about this. I do not think a motherfucker should get off if you left your kid in the car. However, I also don't think it should be murder. Murder, I don't know the details of the case. Did this dude, was he actually intending to murder his child? It was on purpose that he left it in the car like that? Or was it negligent homicide? There are distinctions. Was this dude trying to get rid of his kid? Apparently this was a pretty high-profile case because I saw multiple outlets covering it. So let's find out what happened.
Father who left his toddler son in a hot car may be getting out of prison soon as the Georgia Supreme Court overturns Ross Harris's murder conviction. This is a case 11 Alive followed for many years. It attracted national headlines.
Prosecutors argued it was no accident that Harris left baby Cooper in that car as he fantasized about leaving his family and sent lewd messages to young women and girls. Some of the convictions.
Okay, now that's a hell of a statement. First of all, cops fucking lie. So if they wanted to be able to charge this dude with murder, they're gonna do it. And they're going to make up whatever fucking excuses. Him being a sleazebag and sending messages to other women doesn't mean he's a murderer. I don't like it. Murder conviction seems it seems a bit much. Yeah. I don't... This is fucking weird.
Convictions
heartbreaking all the way around.
Still stand. Our Joe Hankey explains what could happen now.
Tonight, Ross Harris remains in prison but is no longer sentenced to life without parole after the Supreme Court of Georgia overturned his murder conviction for the death of his son Cooper. Harris will remain behind bars because he was also found guilty of sending lewd messages to an...
Oh, wait, what? So the lewd messages weren't a consenting adult. Ho, this guy seems like a sleazebag. Yes, Scrappy, thank you. If the cops didn't just fucking arrest innocent people all the time, we wouldn't have to put so much thought into this. Wow, okay, so now the plot thickens. We were like 20 seconds in, I had to pause it and pause it all of that, and then we get to the next screen. And now, attempt to commit sexual exploitation of a child, 2 counts of dissemination of harmful material to a minor. What? You might be a piece of shit, sir. You might, if they have the evidence, then you might indeed be a piece of shit, and Maybe I'm upset your murder charge has been overturned. Oh my God, what in the... And mocks, and that's the problem with this. That's the problem with this. An unsympathetic defendant. You're right. They could have been relying on his seediness to overcharge him. You are absolutely correct on that one. And that's the problem with the U.S. justice system. But what evidence do you think they might have had that it was premeditated?
Remains in prison but is no longer sentenced to life without parole after the Supreme Court of Georgia overturned his murder conviction for the death of his son Cooper. Harris will remain behind bars because he was also found guilty of sending lewd messages to an underage girl, and those convictions still stand. He was sentenced to serve 12 years in prison on those charges and has served 8. In the Supreme Court's opinion released today,
he's almost out.
Prosecutors used an extensive amount of improperly admitted evidence during Harris's trial, and that's why they're overturning his murder conviction. That evidence includes details of extramarital and sometimes illegal sexual activities, hundreds of lewd messages, and graphic photos.
Well, I think they'll try to go back to Cobb, perhaps.
While Harris's trial was held in Brunswick to find an impartial jury, 11 Alive legal analyst Paige Pate says he believes enough time has passed for the case to potentially come back to Cobb if prosecutors
try him again.
Trial.
As you move
try him again.
People are going to start talking about it once again. So you could have exactly the same issue, but they're not going to know that until they bring people in to serve on the jury, start asking them about their exposure to the publicity. Then they may know, just like they did last time, that they have to move the case again.
When asked about the next steps, the district attorney's office would only state our office plans to file a motion for reconsideration in this case. Pate,
I don't know. Like, I hate to judge people by their looks, but he's got that, like, Josh Duggar look to him. He looked like a Duggar. You guys feel what I'm saying? Oh no, you look like a Jared from Subway and a Josh Duggar. You look like you're in that vein. I shouldn't do that. That's wrong of me to judge people.
Says the Supreme Court, though, is unlikely to budge as it voted 6-3.
They seem to have a type, though, don't they?
Another option, Pate says prosecutors could seek to cut a deal with Harris for a lesser charge, such as manslaughter instead of murder, and avoid a trial. I'm Joe Hankey, 11 Alive News.
My apologies, Scrappy, if you look like a Josh Duggar or a Jared Fogle. I'm sure you don't, really. But I would love you. I would love you anyway. I would hope there are ever, but once again, like we've heard so many horror stories from our legal system, and our legal system is run by fucks like Grady Judd, this asshole up here. Speaking of cops that suck, here's a former cop by the name of Eric Adams. He is the New York City mayor. And for some reason, he's destroying dirt bikes. Now, in some countries, they do this with guns. Like, they'll do a gun buyback, and then they'll, like, destroy all the guns in a big public showing. But New York City Mayor Eric Adams is apparently concerned with dirt bikes. Why is he concerned? Now, I understand you're in New York City. Dirt bikes are not made be ridden in the city. I don't know why you would go to such extreme lengths while you hold this kind of press conference, all this pomp and circumstance to show that you destroyed dirt bikes.
PD heard the call, and they did a Herculean task to get rid of these loud, intimidating, and dangerous and illegal dirt bikes and ATVs that are on our street. And so
they might actually be illegal.
Shadow of the Freedom Tower. We are
low income transportation. Scrappy, you're exactly right.
Machinery that's on our streets, and they will be crushed today. and so that they could never terrorize our city.
I've looked at it myself. Like, you know, I was working at the TV station. Like, oh, what would, like, I'm less than a mile up on the hill. What would happen if I got a motorcycle? What's the insurance on that? A lot cheaper. What's the gas mileage? A lot better. How much does the bike cost? A lot cheaper. He is indeed a grandstander. He's a piece of shit. I can't believe they're doing this. And just like, of all the things the government has on its plate that it could be doing for the people, destroying dirt bikes, and it's, once again, it's taking property from people. You feel like you've watched this before. This was today. Yeah, June 22nd, published 1044. You might have watched it today. Or you might have seen another grandstanding politician do the same exact thing. When we got to do this with guns, exactly.
Again, each and every one of them, they will be turned into scrap metal.
Dirt bikes are fun. As someone who grew up in Eastern Kentucky, let me tell you, dirt bikes are fun. ATVs are fun. So fuck you. You're a buzzkill. You're a buzzkill, Eric Adams. A new safety initiative that transforms illegal dirt bikes and ATVs into scrap metal. How is that a safety initiative? I'm not sure, Sky Comet. Perhaps. Hassan and I do similar shows, I do believe. We a similar type of media. Fuck Eric Adams. All right, here's one of those interesting stories. Don't tell the pro-lifers this. Maybe actually we should tell the pro-lifers this. We can yeet them over to Jupiter because scientists have found the remains of baby planets that have been swallowed by Jupiter. The findings come from the first clear view beneath the planet's cloudy outer atmosphere. Very little was known about the largest planet in the solar system, as telescopes have only been able to capture swirling vortex clouds in the gas giant's upper atmosphere, block the view of what's below. In the new study, researchers were finally able to see past Jupiter's gas curtain. That's no way to refer to Jupiter's private parts as a gas curtain. Using gravitational data collected by NASA's Juno space probe. Is that what the gas curtain looks like? The data enabled the team to map out the rocky material at the core of the giant planet, which revealed a surprisingly high abundance of heavy elements, suggesting that Jupiter devoured baby planets, or planetesimals. Planetesimals. I've never heard that word before. Planetesimals. That's fun. It's a fun word to say. It's a fun, like, get your M&Ms now in planetesimal size. In terms of surface. Oh, can't show the gas curtains on stream. Oh, guys, it's right there. It's right there. I promise you, if you can't see it, you pull it back a little bit and it's gonna pop out. It's like a little oyster sometimes. Sometimes they're very pronounced. Other times you gotta like bloop. Sometimes you gotta get the woman aroused. But it's right there, man. It's right there. Because apparently this is a thing. Right next to the stuff that looks like antifreeze. That's I'm assuming like the legs are this way, right? We're taking a downward shot. The shot is the picture is upside down. Oh wow, somebody followed me just because of that joke. Study time. What's up? I'm describing how this gas curtain on Jupiter kind of looks like a vagina.
You live in sexual anarchy?
No, I am ultra MAGA. Oh, do we? Is that what study time is? Well, hey, study time. I was getting ready to wrap up, but I'm still feeling froggy. Would you like to have a discussion with me? Would you like to call in? Would you like to hop in the Discord? I like debating people. Might not be high enough for this shit. You can bullshit around, say I was ultra MAGA. Oh, is that You're assuming that the 88 in their screen name is HH. And the eighth letter of the alphabet is H. Nazis use the 88 to identify themselves. But also, like, I assume because it was 1988, it was just somebody who was born in 1988. That was my first assumption when I saw it. I didn't even think. Oh, here we go. So maybe. They think all races have same IQ for one, right? No, we think IQ is bullshit. Studies have shown that IQ is nothing but a measure of how well you take tests. Study time. Am I gonna have to pull up the studies that? Why don't you call me and talk to me about it? If I'm not smart, it's gonna be easy for you to dance circles around me. 917-830-4359. Okay, I might not have had the phone lines open. Discord has voice chat. Dude's coming in here like, what is Discord? Calling me not smart. Let's chat then. The phone line is 917-830-4359. Why? The fuck are you talking about? Oh shit. No fucking way. Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on?
Yeah, what's up?
What's going on, my friend?
Yeah, so you have no background studying genetic science on race and IQ?
Man, can somebody message Producer Dave and get Producer Dave in here? What's your background on studying race and IQ?
I've studied it over 13 years, and a lot of the.
What's your qualifications? What's your degree in?
They don't teach this in college. They hide it.
So, well, are you a fan of like Charles Murray and Stephen Molyneux? Those types of people. Yeah. I knew it. See, we know your type
I'm a lot
around
smarter
here.
Than you. Have you ever studied these people?
Are you producer Dave making like? Are you fucking with me? Are you producer Dave calling in to fuck with me?
Do blacks have a smaller brain than, say, East
Because
Asians?
this is not my area of expertise, but I've
Yeah, no shit.
I'm trying to get somebody whose area it is, and I would love to have him jump in on this.
You're an idiot. No lefty studies this, sir.
Because you're like
You're so
pseudoscience
stupid.
nonsense.
You're so stupid. You think colleges are going to openly talk about it?
No, I want producer Dave to talk to this dude. Why is there some nefarious cabal running colleges that wants to keep this secret for some reason? Why is that?
Well, for one, blacks get tremendously low grades and they have a smaller brain than white people.
That's not true.
What's the average brain size of a black African?
I have no fucking clue, dude. And if like you can pop off and say some number at me,
you are such an idiot.
I'm
You are
such
so
an idiot.
Stupid. It
Why
blows
would
my
I
mind.
know the average brain size of a black person? That's dumb, dude.
Why did you say it's not true then?
I know it's not true because there is no difference in us besides pigmentation. I know that to be a fact. That race is just a construct.
Okay, Google average brain size among race groups. Google average brain size among race groups, sir.
Let's do it.
You're such an idiot. You don't even realize that races have different brain size averages. You actually think all races have the same average brain size? Yes or no? Wow, dude. You are so uneducated. It blows my mind.
African descended people average cranial capacities of 1267 centimeters. European descended people cranial capacity average of 1347.
Oh, so there is a difference. So you were wrong, right? Blacks do have a smaller brain.
Oh, so and then you think Asians are smarter because they have a higher cranial capacity of 1364.
Well, yeah.
Is that correct?
Hold on. So you just say it. You were wrong. You didn't even know races have different brain size averages.
Well, this is cranial capacity.
Yeah, that's called brain size averages, idiot.
No. There is strictly no difference across the races,
hold on,
sir.
Hold on. You just admit you were wrong. You didn't know anything about this.
Yes, Tones is correct. Cranial capacity and brain size are not the same.
Just admit you didn't know anything about
this. There's not the same. Cranial capacity and brain size are not the same.
Just admit this is your first time studying it.
We're not studying anything, you dumb shit.
You don't know anything about race, sir. You actually think the only difference is skin color?
Why? Yes, science has proven this. There is no.
Oh, what about hair type? Blacks have nappy hair. White people have smooth hair.
It's about what region.
There's differences in hair type among race groups, for one.
Okay, why is that a?
There's a difference in facial structure among race groups, yes or no?
Yes, but I don't understand why you think.
I thought you said the only difference was skin color, idiot.
No. What? Why do you think that these differences, which are based on regions that people came up in, where you evolved from? Yes, evolution.
Why do blacks have a smaller brain than white people, according to scientists?
Oh man, I wish you can't get producer Dave. Oh,
no,
it is
why
intellectual
do
dollar
theorize that blacks developed a smaller brain than, say, East Asians? Why?
They don't have a smaller brain, sir. Cranial
Yes,
capacity is not brain size.
Anybody in genetics, I've studied this 13 years.
What are your credentials? What is your degree in?
They don't teach this in college. Name one college that will teach race and IQ, sir. Name one.
IQ is nonsense. You understand that, right?
You made the, you're
IQ
so naive and
is
stupid. You're so
IQ
uneducated.
isn't a thing. It measures
Hold
how
on,
well
you're so
you
uneducated.
take a test.
Hold on. No, listen, you're so uneducated, you actually think a college is going to talk about race and IQ?
Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it?
Name one college that does.
Why wouldn't? No.
Name one
Why?
college that talks
Why?
about
If
it, sir.
if it was legitimate, what would be their reasoning for keeping this under wraps?
Because I
Why
don't
do you
want to know
think
that
there is
blacks
a
have
conspiracy among colleges to keep the truth under wraps? Your phone died. I want you stick in here with us, study, because I don't think Dave would take calls at the beginning of the intellectual Dollar Tree. Damn, producer Dave is the person you want to talk to about this shit, because he specializes in conspiracy theories, and that's what you are. You're a conspiracy theorist. Dude, IQ isn't a thing. IQ score is not accurate marker of intelligence, study shows. But I'm sure this is also part of the college cabal that wouldn't tell you the truth about race and genetics. They're the same ones doing the study that shows that IQ, because they're wanting to keep the truth secret from us. Because it's impossible that we can have an equitable society. I don't understand. What is the motive? People like him that want to make these accusations that there's a conspiracy. I don't know what the motive is. Oh, I don't have the screen up. Sorry. I don't know what the motive is for colleges to hide the truth. Researchers have determined in the largest online study of the intelligence quotient that the results from the test may not exactly show how smart someone is. When we looked at the data, the bottom line is the whole concept of IQ, or of you having a higher IQ than me, is a myth. A myth, says Dr. Adrian Owen, the study's senior investigator. But some dude that just calls in and said he's studied this shit for 13 years is going to impress us because he likes to watch Stephen Molyneux. Probably a big fan of Brett Weinstein. That's why I really hope that you stick around. The intellectual Dollar Tree is on in 4 minutes. I'm going to take everybody over to Echoplex Media. And this is a show I want you to watch. And it's literally, they're going to be talking about exactly what you want to talk about. I do electoral politics. I talk about how Democrats can win and lose elections and like how they look like stupid and Republicans are fascist and shit. Producer Dave talks about idiots like you that believe in race science. And you should stick around. A famous lecture about it. Oh my God, guys, this is hilarious. On Twitter the other day, this dude told me, tried to have the conversation with me. You're gonna love this study because I'm sure you're in on the there's only two sexes kind of deal. This dude told me to watch this video. If you are being genuine, then watch this vid that will explain the error you are making. I suspect you are trolling though. Oh shit. Okay, that's not my reply to it. Fuck. I gotta go to my profile. So the video the dude told me to watch. If you were being genuine, then watch this vid that will explain the error you were making. Yes, I should listen to the guy's video when I have more subs. I also have more qualifications since I fucking graduated college. The dude is Zach Elliott, an architecture student and a southpaw, a designer and an author. This dude's like, you need to learn about logical fallacies. And I said, which fallacy have I committed? Because I was calling you out on an appeal to false authority. I love fucking right-wingers. Brian size. I want my Brians to be nice and chunky. What we got going on in here? Who's Amrin.com? Identify yourself.
Yeah, the person you were just talking to.
Oh, the race scientist.
Yeah, I've studied it. What about you? Have you studied this?
What did you have to say? I just showed you where researchers say that IQ is bullshit. Complete myth.
You're talking about left-wing activists?
What do you? Oh, left-wing activists. No, who are you? You don't have any fucking credentials.
They don't talk about this in college.
Well, you keep saying that. Now, what is the reason? Why is there some secret cabal? Why is there a secret cabal that is trying to hide the truth from us?
Because they don't want you to know that blacks have a smaller brain.
They don't.
You don't even know it's true, do you?
Oh my God. Cranium capacity is not brain size, dude.
Study it more.
Amnestic, would you like to please jump in here?
Genetics knows that. Look,
everybody in genetics. Who the fuck are you? What are your qualifications? I've asked you multiple times.
The average brain size of a black African is around 12.
I've asked you your fucking qualifications. What are your qualifications?
Where could I get them? Name one college that would even talk about race and IQ, sir.
Why would they? It's bullshit. IQ is pseudoscience.
They're scared of it.
So if you can't get a education from college, where were you educated at? Where did you do this research that you did for 13 years?
Well, the most famous professor to ever talk about it was Philippe Rushton from the University of Ontario. He wrote books about it.
Bro,
he's the most famous. You don't even know who Philippe Rushton is, do you?
I'm begging you, cite a source. One source.
You don't even know who Philippe Rushton is.
Just one.
He's saying Philippe Rushton, but I don't know who he is because he's probably some dumb fuck like a Jordan Peterson type.
Yeah, except what's your background on it, FREAKIN? Make his money off of.
Hey, I muted the other guy. I'm not doing some 2v1. What's your background studying race and IQ?
Guy.
I'm sorry, Amnestic. They muted you. I wasn't going to do a 2-on-1. I was going to let Amnestic actually talk to you because,
what's your background?
You're going to bore me.
Studying race and IQ.
What is my back? I have no background studying race science, you stupid fuck.
Then why do you talk about it?
What's your background? Please, I've asked for your qualifications. You have told me multiple fucking times that you have researched it and that you are an expert in the fucking topic. So I have asked you to back that up.
You're a big mouth.
Yes, that's why I do a fucking talk show, you stupid fuck. What a revelation. You're a smart guy.
You don't let anybody talk about yourself, though.
Tell me what your qualifications are.
Your question, but you overtalk me every 5 seconds.
You're not answering my question. What are your qualifications?
Can I talk more than 5 seconds?
What are your qualifications?
Okay, don't interrupt me. I've studied Philippe Rushton, who's the most famous scientist to ever talk about it, Linda Godfredson, Charles Bernstein, all the famous scientists.
A woman, seriously? Goddamn.
Who have talked about this. That's who I've studied.
He's taking a woman seriously.
Richard Lynn. Have you ever heard of Richard Lynn, Jessica?
No, I'm a broadcaster. Why would I know of these quack jobs?
Why are you?
You know, I love the idea that you think you can come on here and name a bunch of fucking people I've never heard. You know what? I've read a gazillion books by people you've never fucking heard of. That's not a got you stupid fuck.
He just admitted he didn't even know any of the scientists.
No, I don't have a clue any of the people you were talking about. Why are you acting? You come in here, you name drop. No, I don't, and I admitted I have no background, you stupid fuck. Where have you been?
I love how honest you are. This is great.
Ask him.
Who has only a fucking crazy person, a fucking psychopath, dude. Only a psychopath, racist asshole thinks they like research race science.
So you have no background actually studying this.
You have no background.
I already told you my background.
You've watched some YouTube videos. Read a bunch of white supremacist psychologists. Exactly.
You didn't even know that racists have different brain size averages.
They don't. God damn.
Well, what's the average brain size of all humans then?
I don't fucking... Dude! Why would I know that? Am I a neuroscientist? Which you aren't either. You have no fucking qualification.
Oh my God.
Why would I have that information? Why would I have that information? I am a broadcast. Yeah, I do not care what you are talking about.
You do not even have close to a high IQ, sir.
I have never taken an IQ test, but I have whooped ass in fucking college, dude.
Of a white person is 100, and you're probably below that.
What's your IQ?
Around 130.
Of course, it's around 130. Of course. It has to be right.
I can tell by your verbal ability you're not as smart as me.
By my verbal ability?
It has to be 130 at least.
Yeah. If you study intelligence testing for over 13 years, you would know that verbal ability is linked to intelligence.
Is it, though? Have you ever met an autistic person?
That's a very good point, Amnestic, but also, like... How do I not have verbal ability when I have literally made money my entire adult life off of my verbal ability?
Bro, nobody who is really smart would think you're smart.
That's not what you said. You talked about my verbal ability. I have been on the radio since I was fucking 16.
It doesn't mean, dude, the only people who would listen...
You were just talking about my verbal ability.
I know, but nobody smart would actually listen to you, freaking.
Nobody smart would actually listen to you. My chat is actually highly in.
When I do shows,
who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Please give us your name so I can look you up and see your videos. I want to know your goddamn credentials.
Studying all the famous scientists.
Wait, I actually want to know
that is not
autism are. As an autistic person, I really want to know.
You are dumb as a rock.
That is like me saying I have studied a whole bunch of directors because I've watched a lot of movies.
Where
Holy
can I get credentials on race and IQ? Where would I get credentials?
Perhaps a geneticist would be qualified to speak about that. A biologist.
Yeah, Philippe Rushton was a geneticist.
No, he's a psychologist.
Charles
fucking Murray, of course. Charles fucking Murray. The chat has debunked all the people that you've thrown out.
Charles Murray is not a geneticist.
You said Charles Murray. You're the one that threw out Charles Murray's fucking name, dude. That's why I'm mocking you, because you like racists.
You didn't even know that races have different brain sizes.
Guys, Sky Comet, I see that you have hopped in. I'm going to bring this to an end. I want you, amrin.com. I want you to hang out, okay? Because the show I'm going to send everybody on Twitch to deals with exactly what you're talking about. They do the conspiracy theories of race science. Go in there and talk to them about it.
I actually have a psychology degree. I have a psychology degree, so I know a little bit about intelligence.
Oh yeah, let me debate her a second. Let me debate her a second, okay?
Okay, go for it.
Oh no, he doesn't.
So
know.
tell me about race and brain size, Angel.
Oh no, he is going to get very upset when he figures out he actually properly gendered a trans woman.
The intelligence of a person is more correlated to the number of convolutions in their brain than the size of the brain.
Answer my question directly.
The brain casing.
What? No, don't avoid the question. You don't know anything about it. What's the average brain size of a black African?
I don't know and I don't care.
Oh, wow. She actually answered the question directly. What's the average brain size of a white person?
Because it's completely irrelevant.
Then why don't you know about it?
Why am I hearing myself bouncing back?
Who have you studied that is famous in the race and IQ debate, Angel? Nobody?
Who? Nobody cares about the race and IQ debate, dude. Like, we live in the 21st century.
We're 1980s.
Okay, I want you.
Look, she left. She got so scared when I asked her direct questions. She left.
She was having issues because she was hearing herself back. But anyway,
dude,
the show I'm getting ready to send everybody over to deals with exactly this topic. So please stick around. Please stick around.
She's like you.
Dude's like, have you ever heard of this guy? Well, you don't know what you're talking about. Arrgh! Fucking right-wingers. Oh, I'm sorry. I hit the wrong one. Right-wingers are morons. It's summertime. Weather's nice outside. Exactly. Send his ass to Dave. That was what Dave needed to be the one to talk, because like Dave is the one that's an expert in this field. I don't handle the race science. That's a Dave kind of thing. I tried to set you up, Study, but Dave is who we're going to go see right now. If you're on Twitch still, please stick around. If you're watching on Twitch, we're going to head over to producer Dave and HK. It is the Intellectual Dollar Tree, where they talk about shit like race scientists. Oh, and Dave is by himself tonight. I would love to hear producer Dave talk to him. So maybe producer Dave will even let you call in or Discord in or something. He will hook you up. Because, wow, you're stupid. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol. Live.